It's a brand new day of soccer. MLS Next Pro beginning match week number 8 from York Lions Stadium in Toronto, Canada, as Toronto FC 2 will square off with Columbus Crew 2. Good afternoon to you wherever you may be. I'm David Gascon. Thanks for hanging out with us on a Sunday afternoon. A little muggy, temperatures right around 57 degrees, scattered clouds all over the park. But all in all, for Columbus Crew 2, they're going to try to keep their winning ways up against Toronto FC 2. They have dominated the all-time season series against the two squads. Winners of 6 of 7, 1 draw, no losses, and they have been absolutely dynamite, and that includes what they have done in postseason play as well. With all that being said, got to take a look at the standings from top to bottom. Eastern Conference, Western Conference, all the way across the board. Chattanooga FC right now, the Eastern Conference, is the top dog, tied with New York Red Bulls 2. Both of them sit at 4, 1, and 3, respectively. You see where Columbus Crew 2 is right now, that borderline spot with 10 points, locked up with Inter Miami 2, Orlando City B. And on the flip side of things, a little bit different for Toronto FC 2, at the bottom of the spot, 13th right now in the Eastern Conference with 7 points. They have a long way to go. As far as the starters and the deployment here today for both these squads, first off for Toronto, the record right now sits at 2-2-1. It's good for 7 points. Adisa del Rosario is going to be between the sticks here today. 2-1-1 record. The goals against average sits at 125. Save percentage is at 50 right now. He doesn't have any clean sheets to his record. So all in all, he needs to get a win to help out his Toronto teammates, but also snap the skid that they've been on against Columbus Crew 2 over the last handful of seasons. On the flip side of things, for Kelvin Jones, his new head coach at Columbus Crew 2, the deployment for him today, the 3-4-3 formation. Cole Johnson between the pipes here today, getting his first start. In fact, his first appearance in 2024. Taha Baroun, great praise for him. Just turned 18 years of age a couple of months ago, but it was part of the U17 United States national team squad. High praise for him. Great size, dynamic player. Got to see what he has in store for us this fine Sunday afternoon. Columbus Crew 2 and their yellow kits, the yellow and black. Toronto FC 2 and their road uniforms, the red and white kits. They'll be moving from right to left. Columbus Crew 2 will be sprinting from left to right. All in all, these two teams have only played once so far this year. When you look at the body of work and things, how they were broken down, Columbus Crew 2 dispatched of Toronto FC 2 earlier this season, but obviously it's a brand new day for ball. Both these teams coming off of victories. For Toronto FC 2, they beat Orlando in their previous outcome on April the 28th. A 2-1 victory for them as this match has begun. And for Columbus Crew 2, they're coming off a victory as well. Kelvin Jones, we got a chance to speak to earlier this week, has high praise for Toronto. He actually, in fact, mentioned Toronto specifically over the handful of games that Columbus Crew 2 has played thus far. Feels like they're one of the teams that have given them all kinds of problems, at least in terms of getting the setup, the build-up, and maintaining possession with the ball. Columbus Crew 2 did dump New York last week. Chase Adams scoring in the 6th minute. Brett Adu-Jomfi scoring in the 40th minute. That was the difference maker. 2-0 was the final outcome in that one. Columbus Crew 2 with their 3-2-1 record. Better away from home than they are on home ground. 2-1 on the road. Last season for them, they were fantastic. 19 up, 9 down, and just 3 draws. On their side of things for Toronto FC 2, Charlie Chamini, the head coach, 38 years of age. And Toronto has their work cut out for them. Made some good moves in the offseason. They'll continue to work as this year builds up. They beat Orlando on April the 28th, 2-1. Charlie Sharp with the marker in the 9th minute. Jesus Batiste, the game-winning goal, scoring it in the 89th minute. The difference maker there, as Toronto pulling out their 2nd victory of the season. Mentioned how dominant Columbus Crew 2 has been against Toronto. You look at the regular season body of work between these two squads. Columbus 5-0-1, and they've outscored Toronto by a wide margin, 16-7. It's hard to do. And they played earlier this season. Toronto fell in Columbus by a count of 2-1. Oddly enough, when you look at where both these teams have been, not that they've been blown out by anybody, but Toronto, a couple of losses that they had sustained earlier this year, was the first two of the regular season. They got beat by Philadelphia and Columbus. Oddly enough, both those scores were by 2-1 differences. And they dropped FC Cincinnati 2 by a 2-1 outcome. Toppled New England in penalties, and then got the better of Orlando on the road. So they're home for just this one contest, and they'll be back on the road against Huntsville City in New York City. But a journey that continues from the mid-portion of March all the way to the tail end of the season, early October. Almeida with possession here in the middle of the park. Columbus Crew 2, Toronto FC 2 squaring off for the second time this year, so deuces are wild. Oddly enough, when you look at their body of work, it's almost a mirror image of each other. Columbus Crew 2, they've scored 11 goals this season. They've also conceded 11. So what does that mean with Toronto? Well, Toronto's scored 7, and they've conceded 7. This cross into the box. Rosario with his first touch of the day. He's a native from Toronto, Canada. A passionate fan base. It does not matter the sport, really. But when you think about the support for Toronto FC 2 and their parent club, that bleeds over to everything across the spectrum of professional sports. And yes, have to acknowledge the heartbreak last night for the Toronto Maple Leafs, losing at Boston in Game 7. Toronto's had their share. They're trying to build a winner here. De Rosario gonna have to work quickly, and he does. Columbus Crew 2 doing a fine job early on, though, pressing the attack and staying on the ball early. Maraca, sharp angle, plays that one through near the 6. That one's going to be immediately ejected and out of the way, out of harm's way anyway for Toronto. But Columbus with early pressure here in the 6th minute. Maraca out wide to the right. Knight in the middle of the park. De Libra applying that pressure. As you see with Toronto right now, just trying to work out some tight quarters. Easier said than done. Well, Green cleared it back to Rosario. Sick asking for service back. He could not get to it in time, but this will be a throw-in for Toronto. Always curious when you see a team in full throttle mode to open up a contest. One for many of reasons, but initially to see if they can put enough pressure to result in a goal. 2, if they can sustain that kind of compete and fire for at least the first 45 minutes. And then 3, once they start substituting, if the reserves that come in onto the pitch can duplicate the same performance. You'd love to have that kind of synergy from top to bottom. Now, of course, a little bit different when you're talking about the ages of the majority of these players. So the rest, the recovery, the jump, the spunk, it's all there. When you look at Columbus Crew 2, the average age of their players is just 20. And it's set near the box. Narrow plays that one away. No real pressure early on for Toronto, but this will be a corner kick for them. At 5 inside the 18, see what they do here with Columbus Crew 2 packing everyone's side of the 18 now. 4 near the 6. Edwards at the top of the box. Ball's not going to come his way. It was bending around. Volleyed around as well. Ball comes right back. That looked like a pass the long way, and it goes out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in for Columbus Crew 2. Altobelli thinking about 2 instances of how he's going to deliver that ball. Good thing is we have plenty of hot microphones in the pitch. You can hear a lot of the chatter, not only from the players, but the coaches respectively. And there's a healthy amount of engagement with these coaches to these players to not only help develop immediately game in and game out, but a lot of these young men are trying to get to the top ranks of MLS. So you have naturally the parent club that's monitoring, observing, taking notes, trying to implement their philosophy and groom these players for a bigger day. Dangerous moment here. That one going short side. Altobelli's strike a little bit off par against Johnson. Cole was caught in no man's land. He came off of his line and cut down the angle, but Julian let it rip anyway. We're about 5 feet in. Inside the 18, trying to go short side to no avail. Regapillas here, second corner for him. So the first dangerous moment of this contest, at least shot-wise, comes from Toronto. Granted, Columbus has had a great deal of pressure early on. This one lofted in, but didn't have any flair to it. Comes back to the middle of the pitch. Settling it down is Olguin. Lucas. As you see Toronto circling back, just trying to reset. Will recycle through the back. Stefanovic. Columbus laying back a little bit now compared to what they did the first 3 minutes. Walking that tight rope. Edwards couldn't sprint to it in time. Prestis sandwiched, kept in by Toronto. Great spirit there for Toronto FC 2. Zimmermancic inside the 18. That shot not his best. Easy stop there for Johnson. Dimitru thought he had less time than he actually did. As we look back at the sequence, Toronto very decisive here with the ball, which has been fantastic for them early on. Ayari, who grabbed that corner. Gotta look out for that as the day goes along, just because Johnson was cheating quite a bit, anticipating a pass, not necessarily a shot. That'll be a foul against Adam Perlman. Perlman, 19 years of age, from Johannesburg, South Africa. And a great deal of continuity with Toronto FC 2. Johnny Chimini, the head coach, getting his players ready for today. And they've weathered an early storm. The buzz was there for Columbus. And that's why it's always interesting to be an observer of the opening flurry. Can one team take advantage of it, and can the other hold their ground? The answer so far, Toronto, is an emphatic yes. Match is just underway, 12th minute. The Rosario has not been tested. Stefanovic over on the left-hand side. Zimmermancic gave it away, picked off, and Columbus Crew 2 has it now. Under John Feen, the team's leading scorer for Columbus Crew 2. 6 matches so far. He's got 3 goals and 1 helper. One of the team's leaders in minutes logged. Chris Rogers, though, is the top dog for them. 438 minutes and counting. That ball getting flung up in the air, just looking for it. Stefanovic. Ivanovic twirling around just a bit. Ivanovic back to Rosario. Switching the pitch and going the long way. Regapillas here. Did win it for Toronto. Belly is at the top of the box. Feet could never come his way, though. Zimmermancic was busy last year, nearly 1,800 minutes in 21 appearances. He had 20 starts as well. And as you can see, a great deal of frequency playing it back to Rosario. Rosario has been active early on, and as a keeper, helps get in a rhythm. Those early touches, not necessarily shots coming your way, but engage in the flow of a match. It's almost like the equivalent of a boxer who doesn't feel like he's acclimated to a fight unless he takes the first punch or two. Perlman in some trouble. De Rosario into the middle of the pitch. This is a dead giveaway, though, for Toronto. Sprinting all the way back, though, is Edwards. That's great hustle from Nathaniel. A local product from Brampton, Canada. Made his debut with the club in week number 1 against Philadelphia. Should be a foul, and it is. Push through for Edwards. Edwards in a dead run. Doesn't have numbers, though. That's good transition defense from Columbus, though. Top of the box. The belly goes down. No whistle, no call. Toronto trying to draw a penalty. Not going to be the case here. Going to have to be a little bit more deliberate than that. Ryo gets taken out. He's depossessed from the ball. Edwards on possession. De Rosario. And this will be a throw-in for Columbus. Fans, don't miss Toronto FC 2's next game on May 10th when they head to Rocket City to take on Huntsville City. Coverage from Joe Davis Stadium kicks off at 8 p.m. Eastern on MLS Season Pass. You heard it right, though. Made the 10. There's a giveaway. This should be an open net goal. It's exactly the case. It's 1-0 Toronto. Bad giveaway there for Cole Johnson. He gets stung. Ayari on the board, and so is Toronto. It's 1-0. For Hassan Ayari, it's his first goal of the season, and it couldn't have come at a better time, and probably the easiest one that he'll tally all year long as we look back at the sequence. Johnson asleep at the wheel. You look at the positioning, that is everything there for Johnson. You always get into a bad situation as either a keeper or a defender when you're playing the ball in the middle of the pitch. If you're trying to switch the field, it's one thing to elevate. It's another to keep it on the ground. Ayari roofing it over Johnson, and it's 1-0 just like that. Oddly enough, mimicked the pressure that Columbus put on Toronto in the first 3 or 4 minutes of this match. The only difference, De Rosario didn't turn it over, and Johnson did. 1-0 Toronto. So now we'll see how Columbus will respond. Push forward, half step in the middle of the park, contact there at the top near the box. Official's not going to blow it dead just yet. Thomas Noel, the lead official here today. Was awfully close. Prestis had a good step though. Maraca in, cleared by Edwards. Well, Maraca had a step or two, but he had to be deliberate with that ball and could not execute a shot. Narrow. Queen gave it away. Toronto now comes right back with it. Step and a jump. Watch out. Heavy pursuit here. Two players on one. Altobelli on the right hand side. Ayuri gets robbed by Johnson point blank. Oh, it's a great way to redeem yourself. And Cole Johnson with a monster save here in the 18th minute. Check it out. Altobelli, who had good legs underneath him, caused two defenders for Columbus Crew 2 to converge on him. Ayari left by his lonesome as the trailer. And yeah, he probably could have made another move, but you figure where he was at on the pitch and seeing all that open twine, and Johnson able to range from right to left, snag that ball and keep no rebound around. Huge save. Got to remember that as the day goes along for Johnson and company. Turnover here. Watch out. Columbus Crew 2 trying to equalize. Those matches had a little bit of everything. Coming out to Rosario, his first big save of the day. That second shot goes short side and wide. Well, a lot of thumping around early on for both these clubs. As we peel back, there is Rosario with his first big stop of the contest. So plenty of jump. And there is Rosario with a monster save, matching wits with Cole Johnson early on. Edwards going twirling down, looking for a call. He's going to get it. So Ayari with the goal. Ayari's first. But then Johnson to Rosario with two massive saves to keep this game at 1-0 Toronto. Played away to go back to Columbus. So early jump for both of these teams, and enthusiasm has been apparent. Sideline to sideline, goal line to goal line. Narrow gave it away. Olguin jumps up into the play. Altobelli wants to get it back. He cannot. It's a fine play by Narrow to get his left leg out. A right leg, I beg your pardon, and Johnson alertly pounces on it. Well, both these teams have been fast and relatively quick with possession. That'll be a soft giveaway there by Jordan Knight. Jordan from Brampton, Canada. Played up. Edwards holding his footing, at least for now. Stefanovic Played into a bad area. That one was nearly intercepted. Jamfi, who's got 3 goals so far this season, lurking for number 4. And now he'll get a little tongue lashing from our lead official because of what he did, kicking that ball into the shield. The Next Pro logo. Got those advertising dollars there. Can't tamper with any of that. To Rosario. Bad pass. Prestis got it. Gave it back. Raka. Brun there. Taha Brun, as you mentioned, 18 years of age. Dad played in Morocco. He has dual citizenship. Altabelli. Zimmermansic. Ayari there gets taken out at the very last moment. Playing the ball first was Prestis. Great play by Owen. He's in a peculiar spot because as he attacks that ball, if he does not jump on it first, taking out would-be attacker for Toronto would be an easy booking for him. 24th minute, both these keepers have been living dangerously with their possession. Feels like more than one occasion for both Cole Johnson and Adisa de Rosario. Players for the opposing side have had contact on their attempts to clear. Knight can't flag it down. Make sure you stay with us at the break. We'll have some stats. We'll have some highlights. We'll take a wander around North America, see what's going on. MLS Next Pro, league scores. Michel Montaigne is also doing some work in St. Louis. All that and then some at the break. See who takes this corner. It won't be Ryo, it'll be Prestis. Columbus native. Ripe old age of 18. We mentioned it. Average age of the Crew players is 20. Entire roster, though, is listed at 18. It is a youthful squad and one that will be potent for Kelvin Jones. Cross, top of the box. See Toronto really packing inside the 18. It's 6 players all in red. Altabelli. Wins in the middle of the park. We'll see if service comes his way. That ball was broken up at the last second. Almeida, fine play by Diego to get that left foot out and neutralize the attack from Toronto. Almeida, good field awareness. And that's not easy, especially when you're in the dead sprint. Going from the attacking third back to your defensive area. Almeida, 20 years of age, and you can't coach that. Corner kick, a bit lofty. That one hovering towards Johnson. Stevanovic didn't get some good mustard on that.
You're ready to release to get Marco there, okay?
Fans, will we get a moment? The Hell is Real rivalry isn't just for MLS. Tune in to MLS Season Pass May 12th at 3 p.m. Eastern for MLS Next Pro's version of Hell is Real when FCC2 visits Crew 2. Again, May 12th at 3 p.m. Eastern. 27th minute. Sanayari, his first goal of the season. Only his 3rd match so far for Toronto. And they lead 1-0. They're trying to get their first ever victory against Columbus Crew 2. Columbus trying to equalize. Ryo looking for help. Knight. Almeida here. Touched to Narrow. Narrow gave it away though. As soon as I say that, comes right back. Libera. Diego looking for it. Gio couldn't give it to him though. Olguin with the intercept. Not good traction though. He's playing it off of his off foot, the left foot anyway. So no real steam on that ball. Transition from defense to offense, a little bit too slow. Edwards asking for it. He was trying to go on a run. Fended off nicely. So the temperature here on the pitch has certainly cooled off. I don't mean that literally, I mean that figuratively. Felt like both these teams were in a dead sprint for probably a good 10, 15, maybe even 18 minutes. Then after that goal was scored by Ayari, things have settled down nicely. But the passing has been good. The communication's been loud and firm. Raya. Prestis is on the right-hand side. We'll see if anyone notices him. Baraka. Bruin here. Bruin pivoting around with possession again. 6 feet tall, the 18-year-old. Athletic blood from his parents. Ping-ponging around. Toss this over on the left-hand side. That left-footed strike on the way through. Anjanfi had that one blocked. Altobelli got taken out. Ayari is over on the left-hand side, asking for deliverance back, but to no avail. Edwards here. Edwards 21, Altobelli 21. Stojanovic. Edwards in heavy pursuit. Watch out, this could be a head-on collision. Edwards alertly jammed on the brakes because Johnson was well out of his net. Both these teams making some off-season acquisitions, and they've done a couple different things during the year. Ooh, Altobelli looked like some heavy contact above the shoulders, but he's okay. He did not go down. Zimmermansik trying to thread the needle there, but too much velocity on that pass. And it really wasn't a whole lot. Altobelli was going left, that feed went right. Mena. Rainmaker over on the left-hand side. No numbers though. That ball flinging around almost resulted in an own goal. Stojanovic nearly put that ball into his own net. It's going to result in a corner here. Prestis for Columbus will take the corner. Adujamfi near the 6. Rogers is also there. Crew 2's going to have it. Ball thrown in though. Almeida, not his best delivery, and that ball just being ping-ponged around. Bruin having to go off his midsection. He was able to settle it down. He probably could have pulled the trigger. Bruin here. Olguin trying to harass. It worked. Zimmermansik out wide. This could be more trouble. Ayari. Ayari's got a step plate over the ball, and unfortunate for him, it goes back to Crew 2. There's certain days where the ball will just die on a player with a slow roll. Other days, if it rains, typically the ball will run and run and run, just speed off the map. Ayari there and the former. He wasn't even in high gear just yet. And for Johnson and crew 2, they were fortunate. Nice pick of the pocket. Moraka, the steal. Sweet move there. Rayo spinning around a 360, getting some oohs and ahs from the stands. Toronto busy during the offseason, their acquisitions, Mark Fisher, Nathaniel Edwards. Italu, the Brazilian. Charlie Sharp, the super draft class pick this year. Haven't seen a whole lot on the offensive category for Columbus in quite a bit. Ween, sharply played. Altobelli, official on the far side, says, fellas, you are offside.
Front three, let's go again, come on! Simmer, hold. Keep them accountable in front of you. Hey, Simmer, hold.
Toronto so far, they have a handful of shots, 5 of them in fact. For crew 2,
Find your reference, that's you in the middle.
they have 4. Possession right now is favoring Toronto, not by a wide margin, 56% to 44. If you're looking at this, it feels like it's 50-50. Toronto, though, with 4 shots on goal to just the 1 for crew 2. More pressure, another giveaway. As soon as I say that, Toronto, Regapoulos gives it right back. Picking up the pocket, Saramancic, he gets taken out from the backside. No whistle, no call, they play on. Prestis was streaking down the middle of the pitch. It's a fine play, though, defensively. Dumitru with the intercept. Old Wheat here. There have been moments where crew 2 has had a step on Toronto, but the recovery for Toronto has been fantastic. No quit. Edwards. Dumitru would love to get another second crack at that. Old win here. 36th minute. Match has had plenty of fireworks, a goal, and a few high drama moments from each keeper. Cole Johnson, Adisa Del Rosario, with some nice stops. And there's been a lot of activity going on for the first 35 minutes plus. Players are moving with the ball, and they're also moving without it. All in all, it's been impressive. Of course, depending on which team you're a fan of, it's been more impressive for the one that has the 1 goal. Ayari with the lone marker, his first of the season. Slight step here. Otto Jonfi could not corral it, though. Brent trying to get into that next level, but just could not do it. And now for the first time here in this opening half, things have come to a slow walk. Shocking to see. And given the spunk so far with these players. Well, much like Toronto, Columbus Crew 2 made some changes. One of them was at the top of the marquee with Kelvin Jones becoming the head coach. LeBrun here. LeBrun. Todd could not feed it through the middle of the pitch to Rayo. Rayo had a step in the defense. He needs to get back, though. He would have been played offside. Rosario. It's an alert play. That's what Johnson should have done on the giveaway that resulted in the goal. And Edwards there colliding with Jordan Knight. It's a heads-up play by Jordan. Let's see Cole here. Getting his first start of the year and turned the ball over once, surrendering a goal, and then redeeming himself. San Ayari, who beat him, was thwarted about 5 minutes after the initial goal. 39th minute. Can't see it right now, but throughout the month of May, pro officials are going to be supporting Huntington's Disease Society of America's drive to increase awareness of the fight against Huntington's disease. They're going to be wearing, and they do wear, blue wristbands to honor former referee Terry Vaughn in all MLS, USL, and NWSL games here in May. Terry was a native of Mount Vernon, Iowa. Learned that he had the gene that causes Huntington's disease, and when he was 30, obviously some difficult news to bear. But he never let his fight with Huntington's disease prevent him from achieving his goal to be one of the top officials in the United States. His refereeing career was one that took him to many places, to see many people all across the land. As a representative of U.S. soccer from 1987 to 2012, an awesome career. He's been a friend, a mentor, a referee to thousands of people in the game that we all love. He was actually on the FIFA panel for 9 years and worked in international tournaments, including the 2007 U20s World Cup in Canada, refereed the CONCACAF Champions League, and worked college games for more than 20 years. It's remarkable. And to honor Terry, Pro has introduced a new award in his memory, the Terry Vaughn Match Official of the Year Award. Kevin Scott was named the inaugural winner last year. If you'd like to, you can join the conversation on social media by using the hashtag Let's Talk About HD, Huntington's Disease. '41st minute from Toronto. Toronto scoring an early marker. San Ayari. So far, the home squad letting it hold up. Shots right now still reading at 6-4 in favor of Toronto. Feels like for as much activity, counters and counter punches, a lot of the action now in this 10 to 15 minute window has been played in the middle of the pitch. Johnson's going to have to let that ball roll to him, and it finally does. Columbus trying to elevate, force a turnover. They can't. Ogwin. Rayo pushing it forward out to the wide area in the left. Brun. The touch. De Libera, right side. Jordan Knight. Knight's been good defensively. Prestis, who tried to split two defenders. De Libera. He's trying to anticipate that ball, but unfortunate for him, he wasn't on the same page as Prestis on the sprint. Nice heel kick, left-hand side, Edwards. Nathaniel with time running down in this opening half. Edwards, good pivot, keeping his footing. See the contact there and result in a free kick. It's an interesting angle for Edwards if he's going to take this. We'll see if he does. You can play this ball a couple different ways. So we'll keep eyes on Cole Johnson as well, the keeper from Phoenix, Arizona. See him directing a little bit of traffic. But if you are Crew 2, how do you defend this? Belly. You can play this one inside the 18. Try to bend this ball into the net. And we'll see what kind of traffic is in front of Johnson as well. This could be a final sequence of this first half. Belly, right-footed punch, a good stop by Johnson, who elevates with the right hand. Had to keep an eye on Johnson for that specific reason. Belly wasting no time to let that thing rip. Had good velocity on it. I don't know if that ball would have hit the crossbar flush. Didn't have the best of angles, but Johnson had to err on the side of caution. Ogwin. Toronto trying to leak on that right-hand side past the back line of Crew 2. Edwards swoops this ball, back post, Johnson with the left hand, keeping that thing out of harm's way. Adam Perlman was streaking down that right side of the pitch. Perlman at 6'2", couldn't elevate in time as we have 1 minute of added time here in this opening half. It's been a fun one. Glad you can be here with us from Toronto. York Lions Stadium. Crew 2, if you're just joining us, all-time, including postseason, 6-0-1 against Toronto. And they've outscored them by a wide margin of 16-7, not including today. That strike, Johnson gets two hands on it, no rebound in front. Johnson's looked comfortable now after conceding an early goal. Now he's just hoping his friends could pick him up. One final push here. See if Crew 2 can make something out of nothing, and that's not going to be the case. We have reached half here from Toronto. Toronto FC 2 making up for what they have not done in recent games against Crew 2. An early advantage. Hassan Ayari, his marker, his first of the year. Getting Toronto FC 2 on the board. They lead at the end of the first half, 1-0 against Columbus Crew 2.
Really sweet. Ahí está el centro. Gol. Maxi Mesa para pegarle. Maxi le pegó. Fuerza. Al frente. Servicio. El tiro. It's saved by Carlos Corner. Con autoridad el centro. A la izquierda en las afueras del área. Le pega. Golazo. Esterna va a definir Chicho.
And welcome back. Our halftime score, Toronto FC 2, Columbus Crew 2-0. Michelle Montaigne wound up in St. Louis this week and has this week's edition of The Report. Michelle, take it away.
The shot. Oh, it's brilliant. They found an equalizer. They get a second to fully seal it. Glasgow!
We kick off the month of May from America's heartland. We're here in the gateway to the West. I'm Michelle Montaigne, joining you from beautiful City Park. Now we have a lot to get to from here in the Midwest, but first we start with another historic milestone for MLS Next Pro. For the first time ever, 2 independent clubs competed in the first ever independent derby. Chattanooga FC hosted Carolina Core in front of nearly 4,000 fans, and Jesus Ibarra gave those fans something to cheer about early on, scoring the opener just 7 minutes into the match. Milo Garvanian added the insurance goal for the home side with his first ever professional goal, and with the win, CFC moves into first place in the Eastern Conference. Post-game, Rod Underwood discussed the significance of these 3 points.
We knew coming into this game it was about getting through this game. We knew that we needed to, look, I know the coach, I know the coaching staff. I knew they were going to come prepared, and they were prepared. I knew it was going to be a difficult game, but there's no easy games in our league.
Let's take a look now at Chattanooga FC's upcoming schedule. The month of May kicks off with CFC hosting Orlando City B on May 4th. Then they'll have back-to-back matches on the road. Inter Miami on May 10th, followed by Crown Legacy on May 15th. They close out the month at home versus Atlanta United 2 on May 25th. As for the visitors, Carolina Core has just 3 more games to go on the road before their home opener on Saturday, June 1st versus Huntsville City FC. Make sure you mark that one on your calendars. From a first ever match between 2 independent clubs, we now shift gears to another MLS Next Pro first. Trailing 2-1 in extra time, Eric Hernandez scored his first professional goal in the 91st minute to equalize for Ventura County FC. His late game heroics kept the club atop the West and helped them sit at the top of the league with their 16 total points. Afterward, Hernandez described the feeling following his first pro goal.
Like that situation, I mean, I just saw opportunity and just went for it. I mean, I saw teammates open, but something. Yeah, something told me to just hit it, and you know, thanking God for this opportunity. So, anything for the win.
Sticking with the goals theme, this week a couple guys scored them in bunches. For the 5th consecutive week, there was a hat-trick performance across the league, and this time, once again, it wasn't just one player achieving the feat. Gerardo Valenzuela not only netted his first 3-goal performance, but the first hat-trick in FC Cincinnati's 3rd season. After scoring in his MLS Next Pro debut last week, he tripled his production in week 2.
We have a very good group of guys, you know, starting or even off the bench. So, yeah, I feel like this year is a very good year for the second team. We knew they were undefeated, and we just wanted to make them defeated, I guess. Yeah. So, wanted to beat them, take them off the undefeated board.
For Cameron Habibullah, what's more impressive than a hat trick is posting your second 3-goal outing in a span of 3 weeks. Habibullah now has 7 goals in the month of April and has SKC2 leading the league in goals for, but still gives credit to the group around him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thankful that I was able to get it, but to be honest, I don't pay too much attention to the individual stuff. I'd rather win the game as a team, play as a team, and yeah, that was the highlight of the day, just the 3 points.
With 7 goals in April alone, Habibullah sits in 2nd place in the Golden Boot race, and no, it's not too early to talk about it. It's never too early to look at who's lighting up the league. New York Red Bulls 2's Roald Mitchell sits in sole first with 8 goals through 5 MLS Next Pro matches. Harold Osorio sits at 6, while a handful of players each have 4 on the season. Somebody's not just paying attention to the goals this season, but form overall. St. Louis City's Lutz Pfannenstiel, the sporting director of the club. And Lutz, I mean, this place has quickly turned into one of the best atmospheres in the entire league. What has made this club so special so quickly?
Yeah, I mean, the infrastructure, as you said, is pretty cool. I mean, I think we have the most modern facility in the country. Training facility just around the corner here as well, right in the city center. So I think that's really unique to have everything at one place in the heart of the town as well. And of course the success we had in year 1, the success we had in year 2 in the Next Pro as well, but especially also building an academy in a city which has so much soccer culture made it a pretty unique opportunity, I think, for everybody. So far so good, but still a lot to do.
Thanks so much, Lutz. We're excited to see how far you guys go this season. And speaking of things we are excited about, there are a lot of other things making noise around MLS Next Pro right now. Some of the guys who starred in this league are now making their names known with their first team clubs. Former MLS Next Pro MVP and Golden Boot winner Jason Russell Rowe netted Crew's game winner in the first leg of the CONCACAF Champions Cup semifinal against Monterrey. Columbus would then follow up their first leg win with a 3-1 victory in the second leg, with the former Capybara Russell Rowe finding the back of the net once again. In MLS action, Inter Miami's Benjamin Cremaschi scored his first goal of the season against the Revolution in front of a record crowd in New England, and U.S. men's youth national team member David Vasquez capped off the highlights by inking a homegrown deal with Philadelphia Union. Now, some of those names earned their fair share of monthly awards during their time in MLS Next Pro. Now it's time to shine the light on our April award winners for this year. Newcomer Chattanooga FC takes home Team of the Month honors. After winning Player of the Week twice in April, Cameron Habibullah takes home Player of the Month, while Benny Feilhaber takes home Coach of the Month, both representing Sporting Kansas City too. For the second straight month, Edward Davis is recognized as your rising star, having co-won the award in March. And taking home goalkeeper honors is Ventura County FC's Brady Scott, an award his coach Matt Taylor thinks he's more than worthy of.
I think it's great for Brady. He has put together some really good performances and is a great asset to this team, both on and off the field. His leadership and the way he mentors the younger players has really helped the team to this point so far in the season.
The standout performances from these guys in the month of April is a big reason why each of their clubs has landed in the top 10 of our MLS Next Pro Power Rankings. Ventura County FC tops the list once again, with the other SoCal team, LAFC 2, taking the second spot. Chattanooga FC rounds out the top 3, and the team that plays right here in City Park finishes out our top 10. You can get a full breakdown of this week's Power Rankings, and as always, stay up with everything happening around the league at MLSNextPro.com. That does it for this episode of The Report. We'll see you soon from the City of Brotherly Love.
And Michelle, thank you very much as we're back here in Toronto taking a look at the scores from around MLS Next Pro. What was happened way before any of today taking place on Friday. Timbers 2 disrupting Whitecaps FC 2-0 in that contest. New York getting the better of Inter Miami 2-1. The tally there. On Saturday, only a couple games that were played. FC Cincinnati 2 bounced back to beat Crown Legacy FC 2-1. And then Wednesday, what is on tap? A handful of games as well. We mentioned the turnaround time is awfully quick for a bunch of these clubs. New York Red Bulls 2 going right back to work against Orlando City 2, Orlando City B, excuse me, Atlanta United 2, and Carolina Core going head-to-head on Wednesday as well. So that is what is on tap, MLS Next Pro. We got stats, we got highlights, and all that when we come back. Toronto FC 2 with a 1-0 lead over Columbus Crew 2. We'll be back.
Vamos, dale pues, vamos allá, muévete más loco como solo tú lo sabes. Así es, pon la mano en la cabeza, sacúdete, 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 mira, sacúdete.
Really sweet. Ahí está el centro. Gol. Maxi Mesa para pegarle. Maxi le pegó. Huerta. Aldrete. Servicio.
It's saved by Carlos Corner. Con autoridad. Centro. A la izquierda en las afueras del área. Le pega. Golazo. Parte externa, va a definir Chicho.
We're back here live at York Lions Stadium. Toronto FC 2 with the advantage over Columbus Crew 2 by a score of 1-0. Get a chance now to take a look at some first half highlights. We'll reminisce about the stats that what was the first 45 minutes of action, and there was a lot of it in the opening 45. Both these teams had moments of brilliance. Back and forth we get. Julian Altobelli had that look towards target. Cole Johnson, who was trying to cut down an angle. That shot went a little bit wide. You see, again, the heavy pursuit here from Toronto was more than what Columbus Crew 2 could handle. And speaking of that, Johnson, his first start of the year, and the mental gap there was picked up. Altobelli, Ayari, who applied all kinds of pressure. He scores in the 16th minute for Hassan. It's his first goal of the season. He wasn't done, though. You see that look from Cole Johnson, potentially a game-saving stop there. I know it was in the first half, but kept it at 1-0. Adisa de Rosario, though, coming out and making his own stand as well. Point-blank bid, kept it at 1-0. Johnson busy near the end of the first half, elevating on that shot from Altobelli, keeping the game right now at 1-0 for Toronto. So 45 minutes in the books here from York Lions Stadium, and that is the count right now. Crew 2, a little bit of a hole, but not a major one. It's 1-0 Toronto. Both these teams coming off of victories. And all in all, I got to imagine if you're each of the head coaches, Johnny Chimini and Kelvin Jones, you have to be happy with the effort. The performance hasn't been, of course, the cleanest on many of occasions, but the effort is there. So with the effort being there, now it's just about finishing and completing the act. And for Toronto, trying to get their first ever win against Crew 2. Yes, easier said than done. But we'll find out if they can finish things off. Etelu will come into the contest. So we have 3 changes for Toronto. And we'll get those changes as the contest continues. Etsulu, one of the players that has had high praise, the Brazilian, 21 years of age, and coming onto the pitch, he'll get his feet wet here for the second 45. Crew 2 with possession to open things up. So these teams flip-flop sides. Columbus Crew 2 moving from right to left. Toronto moving from left to right. No changes for Columbus. So they'll roll with what they got. Again, not a major rub against them, being down 1-0. Rogers on the touch here. Rayo will win with the intercept. Stojadinovic, who played well in the first half, been busy in that right-hand side. De Rosario with a giveaway. Yeah. 47th minute. We're early on here. Dumitru subbed out. Ayari subbed out. Stefanovic also is out. Cadavolo, who comes in. Plenty of contact approaching the attacking third for Toronto, but Thomas Noel, the lead official, not going to call anything, at least for now. Mark Fisher is also in, so 72, 70, and 58. A little bit chirp in there. I haven't seen that in quite a while. Jordan Knight looking on. Doesn't look like we need any medical attention, but we'll wait and see. Now, Noel going to give Jordan Knight a bit of a tongue lashing. Oh no, booking in fact. 48th minute, there's your first yellow card. I wonder what it was from. I don't know if it was from the contact or the fact that he was staring over the defender. Of course, these things do happen. More so late if things get out of hand. Edwards trying to tightrope walk at far boundary. Knight with the one yellow card here today. And now a chance for Toronto and Fisher, but he couldn't hold it. Crew 2 trying to retaliate. Crew 2 had 5 shots in the first half. Fisher on the approach, the easy chip, the right-hand side. It's a good stop by Johnson. Would not have counted anyway against Adabelli. He was offside. Didn't miss by much as Julian was leaking past the back line of Crew 2, but he was a whisker offside. So had that shot gone in, it would not have counted. And if you're Johnson, you could probably still put that in your highlight reel. It came out again to attack Altobelli and made a pretty good stop. 50th minute. Another offside. Rinse and repeat there. Regapilis looking with the fourth official on that, along with the sideline official. They're both next to each other. So Toronto making 3 changes to open up this second half. Columbus did not make any. See who it pays off for. That was close to offside. In fact, that was offside. Pressed this by a step. And a chance in the open to mention these head coaches and what they're doing. Kelvin Jones, just the second head coach in team history, so it's not like Crew 2 have gone through a laundry list of coaches, which is great for not only their brand, but also the organization, keeping and maintaining that continuity. Got a heavy run here on the right side. Maraca just could not get to it because Edwards is in a dead sprint back. Great play by him, but a turnover. Maraca shoots, he scores! One giveaway resulted in a goal. The second one here to open up the second half. And Maraca's on the board. It's 1-1. Edwards did a great play to break it up, and to Rosario, much like Johnson in the first half, just a poor turnover. Edelou turned around, and he had a member of Crew 2 in his grill. He couldn't do anything about it. For both of these keepers, they put teammates in vulnerable positions. And it's unfortunate because the defense really has no opportunity to grow into a buildup. And so for Maraca, it's his first goal of the season now in 4 games. Ayari in the first. Maraca here in the second half. 1-up. Talk briefly about Kelvin Jones. Being a rock for Crew 2. Ujamfi couldn't track it, at least from the opening possession of when he was running down that left side. And giving right back to Toronto now. Gianni Chimini, head coach of Toronto FC2. Mentioned his age like we did everybody else, just 38 years of age, and spent a decade with Toronto FC's academy. In the U12, the U16, U17 age groups, and that's important. You're looking about stability within the organization. That's going to be a foul. Could be dangerously close to a booking as well. Fisher with the take it down. Almeida, who's up now, but he just does not look like he's feeling good about himself right now. Good run here for Crew 2. Looks to be onside. Rogers presses it back. Maraca Back post, the chest, the bump. De Rosario is there. One thing compared to the first half, Crew 2 playing more outside, working the angles as opposed to being direct. Abrun, the chip. Prestis, with a sharp angle, ping-ponging around. Ogwin lazy on that ball. Some contact inside the 18. And now you got players for Crew 2 a little upset with that far set official and the flag up. Next match for Toronto is at Huntsville City. It's on May 10th. Quickly working here is Columbus. Rogers. Crew 2 had better control of the ball here in the second half compared to the first. Toronto owned possession. It wasn't by a wide margin, 56-44 in the first half. But things have certainly leveled out. De Libera chipped it over to Rayo. Libero asking for it again. Ball never came his way. Morocco looking for a brace. Ogwin pushes back, and it's chipped forward. And the effectiveness for Toronto right now to get it out of their own defending third hasn't been as crisp as you'd like it to be. Not sure if it's the wear and tear of the opening half and how strong they were on the ball, but hasn't been consistent here in the second half. We mentioned Toronto's match, so fans don't miss Toronto FC 2's next game on May 10th when they head to Rocket City to take on Huntsville City. Coverage from Joe Davis Stadium kicks off at 8 p.m. Eastern on MLS Season Pass. Toronto wins today, they'll move their record to 3-2-1. Columbus Crew 2 right now sits at 3-2-1. But more importantly for Toronto, they just need to get a darn win against Crew 2. Never beaten them, not once. They are 0 forever. And to be exact, 0-6-1. Lost earlier this season by a 2-1 tally. You can't help but figure that the result in this contest is going to end 2-1. But of course, penalties can decide it. Ogwin, Edwards was streaking down that left-hand side. Nathaniel had probably a good 2 feet on the defense of Crew 2. Touch. Montebelli was asking for the ball coming his way down the middle of the park. Did not, though. Montebelli on that sharp angle. That ball played out of bounds, though. Tough to maneuver in that quarter. See if Kelvin Jones makes any changes as we get closer to the 65th minute. Crew 2 has been good. Antalou fending off Prestis. Rogers, nice little forearm shiver into the back. It's going to result in a foul. Tulu pushes this thing forward, looking for Edwards, but way out in front of him. Johnson having to work quickly. Much like De Rosario. Putting his back line on roller skates a little bit. Perlman. Speaking of age with Perlman, started playing soccer at the ripe old age of 4. Out wide. That chip goes on target. Don't know exactly what the approach was from Habrun. Maybe anticipating a rebound, but not enough velocity on that fling towards target. Edwards, not enough steam on it. So the crispness of Toronto's first half, the ability to pass, find open lanes, get the ball to teammates, not as apparent here in half number 2. Might be part of the reason why some changes were made. Saramancic to Edwards. Netlu making his 6th appearance of the year. Old win. This little ball that was played through, but Altobelli had that ball go behind him. Intercepted. Brune. Do anticipate at least one change coming up, maybe 2 for Toronto and Columbus. 3 so far, at least in this half for Toronto. Nothing yet for Crew 2. Brune forging forward. On a run here. Knight trying to maneuver. He goes down inside the box. The official going to point to the spot. It's exactly the case. Wow. Jordan Knight, he certainly is going to win an award for this. I don't think the contact had much merit. You could be the judge on that. So Jordan did earn it, and we'll see if he takes the penalty. We'll go back after this penalty and see what Knight does. That was a generous call to go for Crew 2, and now they're going to make it count. De Rosario's only faced 1 penalty this season. He has not made a save on it. And for Crew 2, Adojamfi trying to get his team leading 4th goal of the season. So see what Brent can deliver here in the 64th minute. Crew 2 anyway, have not led here today. Adojamfi on the approach. Adojamfi, he shoots and it goes off the goal post. He's fortunate enough to hit woodwork there because that ball was on the outside of the pipe, and De Rosario is ecstatic. Well, that was not well struck. I guess the old saying goes, ball never lies. I don't know, but that is a poor penalty by Adojamfi. We've seen much better, but he's lucky he didn't miss the net entirely. Adojamfi came into this contest with 3 goals. Gonna have to look at the penalty as we reach close to full time. Toronto trying to make up. Yapulis, poorly placed ball. Almeida with the intercept. Now he tries to fling this thing forward. Prestis. Good job by Toronto, at least transitional defense. They get everybody back. They had 8 back. Good job settling it down. Rayo puts this ball forward. That shot blocked. Morocco going for a brace. That one fended off nicely. Perlman able to get in front of it. Able to mark Morocco. And a good job by Adam. The look on Cole's face is Morocco had a good lane to pull the trigger, but Perlman closing the gap. And now we have our corner here in the 67th minute. Back post, Rosario as much force with one hand as could have had with two. Fortunate enough that thing got out of the way. Edwards running Jordan Knight over completely. Tip of the cap to Jordan Knight, at least drawing contact inside the 18 to get that penalty awarded to Columbus Crew 2. But no earnings. John Fee hitting the outside of the bar. Piece of work in there by Ryle, just to at least hold possession. Well, the first half was nothing but running up and down. Players connecting the dots, triangle fashion. Here in the second half, it's been a lot of close quarter contact with the ball, and each team just trying to matriculate up the pitch. And now it looks like we will have another change. Charlie Staniland will come into the affair. It's our fourth change. Oldwin will depart. Charlie, 19 years of age, from Sheffield, England. 89 in for 68. So that's the fourth change for the home team. If you're not familiar with it, the format, how it goes, if we reach full time and the match is tied, we'll have it decide via penalties. So we'll got PKs to get the winner. Johnson having to stay out. Lucky enough that ball had enough traction to get to him. So 4 changes for Toronto so far in this half. Nothing yet for Crew 2. Now one has to wonder, will the fresh legs pay off for Toronto? We'll find out. Nice chip back post from Rogers. Rogers inside, and that ball that was intended for Raya was broken up at the very last moment. Good convergence by Toronto. They typically have everyone in the attacking third marked. And they have worked hard, at least defensively. Perlman, who has been active on the back line today, has really laid it all out there. Marak at the top of the box, slow playing that. Mario, who had that right leg on it, he got forced out, but he was the last to touch it. We have a moment for Crew 2. Gonna remind you about their next match. The Hell is Real rivalry isn't just for MLS. Tune in to MLS Season Pass May 12th at 3 p.m. Eastern for MLS Next Pro's version of Hell is Real when FC 2 visits Crew 2. Again, 3 p.m. Eastern on May the 12th. Lazy pass almost came back. Maraca here. Almeida. Out wide to the right. Toronto trying to capitalize on a couple of giveaways. Edwards here, he goes down inside the 18. And why not have the call go back to Toronto this time? Well, Edwards, who had a step on the defense, he was pulled, he was dragged, and you can see the initiation of that contact. It occurred just outside the 18. See how this free kick goes. A shot on goal. It's going to go sailing about 5 feet wide to the right. Johnson had a good look at it. 73rd minute. We're going to have a change here now for Columbus. Our first change for Crew 2. Oddly enough, took them a while to get that done, but they do make their first change.
Come on, Marco.
Anthony Alloway comes in. Alloway in, this free kick into the box, but again, Toronto, Ragapillis just hasn't been effective on these free kicks. Johnson comes out. Ball was hanging up in the air for quite a while. 74th minute. Neither team has been great on corner kicks, but free kicks have been equally as unimpressive. Haven't had many moments to dial anything up that was effective. No pressure on the back line or the keepers. Strike from well outside. Was way too ambitious though. Rayo and company. '75th minute. Now the dial the pressure up has Crew 2, and they force a turnover. Haven't seen that in quite a while, so we'll find out if they can capitalize. Pierced over, Habrun on the right-hand side. The cross, plenty of contact near the 6. No whistle and no call this time. I think the instance where Jordan Knight was taken out earlier had a way more merit to swallow the whistle than there. We play on though. Rosario. Talk about living dangerously. See that as Exhibit A right there. Almeida. And harassed. Both these teams making some changes here today and did in the offseason. We mentioned what Toronto has done. Crew 2 bringing in Adrian Gonzalez. From LA Galaxy 2, Real Monarchs, Taryn Williams. Cole Johnson, who's newly acquired, Christopher Pearson. And then, of course, Kelvin Jones as the new head coach. See what happens here in a run. 2 there for Crew 2. Alloway. See him rocking those sleeves here today. It's not incredibly cold. No frostbite. Temperatures at kickoff are at 57 degrees. No real wind either. The look is threatening for rain, but nothing really there to talk about. Prestis. Ooh, that ball was missed. Loose change. Alloway there. The rebound. That shot. Great stop by Rosario. Ooh, Alloway, who had 2 cracks at it. See the first attempt by De Rosario. Alloway's initial shot was blocked, and the second attempt, stone cold stop by De Rosario, who's looked well. Well, it could easily be 2 or 3-1 in favor of Crew 2. Otto Johnfee on a penalty, hit the outside of the left goalpost. And then Anthony Alloway just got robbed by De Rosario. Oh, good job sprinting back with that pickoff. Altobelli would have been alone in the top of the box. He hasn't been as big of a factor as he was in the opening half. And Jordan Knight looked like he was hurdling and high-stepping everybody in heavy pursuit of that ball, and eventually called against Toronto for that foul. 79th minute. Both keepers have played well. Coincidentally, they each had a bad turnover that resulted in their demise for a goal against. But outside of that, the fellas have shown up and played. Fending off was pretty good by Prestis. Alloway, he's got numbers. Let's see if he pulls the trigger though. Alloway gives the ball up to Prestis. That ball was behind him. Bad pass. He could have taken a shot and played it out to the opposite side on the weekend. Elected not to do so. 80th minute. We press on. Perlman. Well, that'll be a foul. Ryo not happy with the call, but it was apparent. Clear as day. Maybe not today, but it was anyway. Edwards. Shots now favoring Crew 2, 11-9. It was all Toronto in the first half, at least shots that were not only on goal, but the opportunities with possession. They were the more dangerous team. Crew 2, though, finding the equalizer here in the second half. Cole Maraca, his first of the year. Anthony Alloway came in for him. Altobelli trying to fight off one defender. He gets taken down. The official not saying anything about it, though. And this will result in a corner kick. Looks like we'll have another change for Columbus in a moment. And get you those numbers and those players after this corner. Poorly placed, Alloway with the intercept. And it kind of goes back to what I was mentioning earlier, just the possession for Toronto has been good, but the placement on free kicks and corners is an element that they need to work on throughout this year. High arcing ball here. Altobelli, big stop by Johnson. He got a lot of it, so did Cole Johnson. He's the hero so far for Crew 2 as we look back at this sequence. It was almost like Altobelli was reading that ball and anticipating it was going to come his way at the top of the box, and it eventually did. And Johnson would not be overpowered. Big stop. Maybe second minute. Stanleyland telegraphing that pass. Here come the numbers for Crew 2. We'll see if they make anything with it. And Knight jamming on the brakes. Alloway, who does have fresh legs, turns the corner. Anthony with the left foot. Not as strong as he'd like to deliver that into the box, but Crew 2 maintaining possession here, forcing another corner. Let's see what Kelvin Jones dials up here in this corner. Can hear him with any kind of communication. We'll do it again on this corner. Not entirely sure what this was doing on that corner. Wanting to have enough power to get that ball to the net. Second time whipping around De Rosario. Might have gone off another defender for Toronto. That's exactly the case. We'll repeat things on the opposite side of the pitch. Now we'll see what the markings where these players for Crew 2 are going to be lining up. Brief conversation. Tainero. That's low. The Brazilian working short. Rayo back post. Oh, searching for Rogers. Rogers was being shielded off nicely by Stenneland. Charlie able to recover the ball and give it right back to Crew 2. Right side pass. Ooh. You look at what Prestis tried to do, just could not get to it in time. There was that fine line between him being offside and on. And he pushed forward, he would have surely been caught. Looks like we'll have some more changes to the player down. It's their first real stoppage of the day outside of the penalty. Ryo being removed. Chase Adams being announced. Toronto Williams also being announced. 2 combatants for Crew 2 entering the fray. Don't see the number for Toronto with the player down. Not even sure where that contact came from. But the 2 changes. Adams, who's in, and Williams as well. 52 and 11. And now the change does occur. Anthony Churich coming in for Adam Perlman. So Perlman, I beg your pardon, being helped off the pitch. And that pause in the action was probably around 3 minutes. So we're going to have a decent amount of added time in this second half. First half, we only had 60 seconds. There we go, Toronto. Now that ball lands on the lap of Edwards, tries to lean into it. That was blocked on the way through. Would have been interesting to see what happens with Edwards. I think if a yellow card's exactly the case. You know, for Edwards, having that foul occur near the middle of the pitch, so far away from the net, I can understand why you might want to do that in the transition game. We look back at this, probably more of a frustration foul resulting in the yellow card than anything, because his shot was not able to be forced on target. So the booking for Edwards in the 89th minute. Almeida and back to Johnson. Johnson has been stellar ever since he gave up the opening goal. Teammates responded, got the equalizer, Maraca, in the second half, and Johnson has held up his end of the bargain. And for all intents and purposes, I feel like he has certainly earned another start. De Rosario the same for Toronto as well. Intercept, a Bruin. Probably had more of a window to play with it as opposed to giving it up. Here's Williams. They're on the acquisitions. Williams working back post, but nobody around, and black and gold for Crew 2. Result in a goal kick. Just getting word, 4 minutes of added time. Officials will make that announcement here in just a brief moment. And there it is. Askins, you shall receive. Here's Nathaniel Edwards, gets taken out nicely though. Prestis, a deep possession of him, but he gave it right back. Altobelli gave it up. Staniland, I don't know what he was doing with that ball. He probably should have given it back though to Altobelli, but did not to do so. Julian was heavy on the ball in the first half, not so much active here in half number 2, but he's had glimpses. Should be another foul, and it is. Nero, who's gone wire to wire so far. Only a couple of changes for Crew 2 today. Rayo and Morocco, who have been substituted out. De Rosario going to have to work quickly with this, and he does. Rogers, 4 minutes of added time. And if it's not decided here, we'll go to PKs. Williams, far side official does not have the flag up. Ron trying to work, it's taken out. This should be a corner kick. Not sure why Williams was working from that sharp angle, just didn't bounce it off of the Toronto defender. Very easy could have ricocheted off of him, giving it right back to Toronto.
Here now. Also. Split the difference with. There you go, Kyle. Heel, he's yours, Heel.
Toronto at least getting this thing away out of belly. If we go to penalties, we'll give you at least a look at the 2 goals that were scored earlier today. One in the opening half and one in half number 2. De Rosario quickly on the approach. Oddly enough, both goal scorers not a factor anymore in this match. They've been subbed out. Jomfi missing a penalty. Missing badly, in fact. He wasn't stopped. He hit the outside of the bar. Shots are 11 apiece. Toronto has 7 shots on goal to just 3 for Crew 2. Edalou couldn't give that up, and Crew 2 going to stay with it. Long, ferocious throw-in. Rogers lofting it. Too many in red and white, though, against Crew 2. A matter of seconds before we've reached full time. De Libera pushes this back to Knight. Knight, left-hand side. And that'll do it. So 1-1 is the score. This thing will not be decided in full time. But all in all, impressive for both these teams, especially for Crew 2 to bounce back in the second half. Cole Maraca getting the equalizer. Getting things level for Crew 2. And it's 1 apiece as we have reached full time. And up next are PKs.
All right, MLS store, I need something fresh and clean. Let's see what you got. I need that in my size. Cream on cream? The fit is cold. I'm ice cream. You like that?
At the end of regulation, since the teams are tied on the scoreboard, the match will extend to a shootout, with each team having 5 attempts. If the teams are tied after 5 attempts, they will go to sudden death. The shootout winner will receive an extra point in the regular season standings.
So you take a look at it, the point system and how it's broken down. 3 points to a regulation winner. Shootout victory for that team, they'll get 2 points. The shootout loss, the losing team will get 1 point. Regulation loss is no points. So Toronto right now as they sit 2-2-1 on the year for 7 points. At the very, very least, they'll get another point, so they'll move them up to 8. And for Crew 2, they'll get at least 11. So we look at what has happened in this contest. Both of the goals that have been scored today, because of turnovers from the goalkeeper. Cole Johnson, the opening one. Hassan Ayari, his first goal of the season occurring in the 16th minute. And then we flipped the script to half number 2, and De Rosario with the turnover. It was a bad breakdown by him. Cole Maraca getting his first goal of the year. And that is where we stand. We're 1 up in the PKs. Big thanks to our entire crew today helping us from Toronto, spearheaded by James Barker. Calling the shots today. But for Crew 2 and Toronto FC 2, trying to get 1 additional point. Crew 2 now will move up to at least 11 points, and Toronto FC 2 will have 8. But the difference now for both these squads, especially for Toronto, can they get a victory, at least 1, against Crew 2? And both these keepers getting instructions, so Cole Johnson will be between the pipes. A goal against Altobelli. So if you did not see it on the instruction, we'll have 5 rounds. The best of the 5 will win it, assuming that there is no tie after 5 rounds. So Altobelli against Johnson on the approach. Altobelli, right-footed punch. It goes top shelf against Johnson, and he scores. Makes no mistake about it. Do a little chirping against Johnson as well, for good measure. Johnson guessed right, but does not matter. And up next is Chase Adams for the road team. This is nothing new for De Rosario. He faced a penalty during regulation. Jamfi missing it way wide to the left. So we'll see what Adams does. Adams hasn't had a lot of time on the pitch here today. But here he goes against De Rosario. Chase, deliberate, working, slow rolling, smooth. Silky smooth from Chase Adams, and we're up to 1 apiece. Good hesitation from Adams in catching De Rosario off balance. Too much leaning on your front feet. And now we'll see if Toronto can regain the advantage. It's one of these things where you just don't know where it's going to fall. Cadavolo, who came in also late in this second half. Cadavolo shoots, shots it with a big stop. He guessed right on both occasions from Toronto's shooters, and Cadavolo gets robbed there from Johnson. Look at him on the balls of his feet. Johnson just extending to the right. He covered that right side well. Bottom and top corners, Cadavolo denied. So Prestis trying to give Crew 2 the advantage. And they haven't had a lead in anything so far here today. Prestis against De Rosario. He shoots, he scores. Just sneaks it past the keeper. De Rosario guessed right. Just put it in that corner. And Prestis worked hard to get that ball there. It's 2-1 Crew 2. Marcus Simmermancic. Let's see what he does against Johnson. Simmermancic on the approach, left foot again. Johnson in denial mode. Oh, that's two huge big stops from the keeper, and it's 2-1 Crew 2. They have a massive advantage now. Johnson's been money on these attempts. Even the shot that got past him by Ottobelli, he guessed right on, just could not reach it in time. Now Bruin here with Crew 2 in the driver's seat. Trying to put Toronto in a world of hurt. The young 18-year-old on the approach. Bruin, slight hesitation. He sneaks it under the keeper, and De Rosario beside himself now. Now Bruin, sneaky with this ball. You just see that little skip at the very last moment before it reached the goal line. Taha Bruin making it 3-1 Crew 2. And now it's do or die for Toronto. Charlie Staniland trying to keep this game afloat for Toronto, but they're on life support. Against Johnson, he shoots, he comes up big again. Oh, Cole Johnson, absolute monster to win this thing for Crew 2. They win it in penalties, 3-1's the final. Absolutely brilliant performance from Cole Johnson, who's mobbed by his teammates, and for good reason. The 22-year-old stood on his head in penalties, making not one, not two, but 3 consecutive stops. And for Cole Johnson, his season debut with Columbus Crew 2, he gets all the honors. He's our man of the match, presented by Adidas. And he's all smiles for good reason. We mentioned just before we reached full time that he deserved another start, and he's going to get it. Crew 2 winning at 3-1 in penalties. And Columbus, a big victory for them. They'll improve their record now to 4-2-1. They'll capture the extra points, so they'll now have 12 points. Toronto FC 2 will fall to 2-2-2. But more importantly, for Crew 2, they still have never lost to Toronto. Undefeated and counting. Again, final score here today from York Lions Stadium. After full time expired, penalties give it to Crew 2 as they beat Toronto FC 2 by a final score of 3-1. This is David Gascon saying so long on a Sunday afternoon. Hope you enjoyed this one. We'll catch you again in week number 9. So long, everyone.
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.